Islandora Multi Importer is a tool that allows you to batch ingest objects using a CSV file, basically a spreadsheet, for your metadata, instead of a collection of fully formed mods XML files. To use it, you'll need the following: a CSV of your metadata. A template is available on the ARCA support site. A twig template that tells IMI how to process your CSV, which is also available on the ARCA support site. And a zip file full of your objects. First, to set up your CSV, grab the template from the ARCA support site. The template is linked in the video description. It's set up to work with the twig template that I've made available. You can make some changes to the CSV column headings, but if you do so, by changing the titles or adding one or more columns, you will need to modify the twig template as well. I built this CSV to accommodate most, if not all, of the metadata use cases that I've seen in ARCA. As a result, there are lots of columns. You can delete any that you aren't using or don't care about. So fill in the CSV. Each row represents one object. Some key fields: file name. This must be an exact match to the file name for that object that's in your zip file, including the extension. C-model or content model. You need the PID for the content model that you're ingesting this object as. Again, it must be an exact match. You can find a list of content models in Islandora with their full PIDs on the Islandora wiki, and you can see the link in the video description. Parent. The PID for the parent object, whether that's a collection or a newspaper or whatever. Again, you need to have both the namespace and the identifier in there. Other important fields: there's the date issued. As always, this must be in numerical format: year, month, day, or just year or year, month, if that's all you have. If your date is approximate, inferred, or questionable, add that here. And that should be lowercase. Genre, which is here, and genre authority. Make sure that you pick a genre from a recognized authority. In ARCA, we use MARC genre terms and the Art and Architecture thesaurus. Note under genre authority which authority you're using, whether it's MARC GT or AAT in our case. If not using authority, leave it blank, but you should be using an authority. And then we have rights. Rights here is the free text explanation of the object's usage and reproduction rules. You should have this filled out. Next to it are the Creative Commons URI and rights statement. These are not necessarily required, but in ARCA we request that you use one of these. If your object doesn't have a Creative Commons license, it should probably have a rights statement. This helps users understand what they can and can't do with your objects. So once you've saved your CSV with all of your objects recorded, you're going to zip up your files. So put all of your files together in one place, with no subdirectories, and create a zip archive. Finally, you're going to prepare your twig template. Twig template looks kind of like this. It's a bunch of XML with references to the incoming data. You can download a twig template that works with the CSV I just showed you from the ARCA support site. You can tweak it if you need to, but it is set up to work nicely with that. So any changes you make, you have to make to the template or both templates. Now, to import your objects. In your Islandora site, go to the path yoursite/multi_importer. You will probably want to create a menu shortcut to that. Under Choose Your Data Source Type, select Spreadsheet File to be uploaded. You could also use a Google Spreadsheet URL. If you've configured the Google API credentials in the module settings, you can play with that on your own. We're going to go with the uploaded spreadsheet. So choose your CSV. There's my template. Click Upload. and pre-process. This takes you to a set of tabs where you can test your mappings and configure how it's going to work. Start, clicking there, the preview, selecting the row that you want to use for testing your mappings for your preview. Use selected row. Next we'll go on to templating. Under templating, if you've never used Islandora Multi Importer before, you're going to need to add the template here. So take the template that you've downloaded, select all, copy it, remove this default text here, and then paste it in. Click the preview button to see what the processed output looks like. It's going to take that row you selected from your CSV, pass it through the twig template, and show you what it looks like as mods. If it all looks okay, then you're going to want to save this template for current and future use by going back to the template input, click Save Template As. I'll call it my sample template for you. Save template. Now it's available here under the different templates that might be. Next, we'll go to C model mapping. Select the column that contains the column from your CSV that contains the object's content model. In our case, that's C model. You're going to click Check C models. And here you are shown the various data streams that are associated with the content models that are found in your spreadsheet. For each, you're going to need to define with the select lists how that data stream is going to be produced. For DC, we use the default XSLT. For mods, you need to choose the twig template that you saved. So scroll down, 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 and this is out of the window, but there's a section called Use Twig Template, and you're going to choose the template that you selected. So there's my sample template. For OBJ, that is the object that you are ingesting, the main file. We're going to pick the file name field. This tells the system that this file is your object. For TN, that's the thumbnail, we want to build using derivative from OBJ. I'm working with the video content model, which is a bit buggy in IMI. We are going to ignore the OGG and TechMD fits data streams. We're mainly going to be concerned with the MKV and MP4, which are both derivatives that are built from the OBJ, so we're going to select those. Now with everything mapped there, we're going to go on to the object properties mapping. For the object PID, unless you have preset PIDs that you want to use, then leave this alone. This checkbox on the right allows Islandora to build the PIDs as normal automatically. Parent object, this is an important one. You're going to select the parent column from your metadata CSV. This defines where the object will be found once it's ingested. Object label, you probably want to use the title as the label. Sequence and ordering, this only really matters if you're ingesting compound objects, which we aren't getting into here, but if you've got it, select it. Remote DS sources. We're using a zip file, so choose zip, but you also have other options if you're hosting your files remotely, like AWS, Dropbox, or something on your local file server. We'll go with zip. With everything configured and selected, down here at the bottom, we want to make sure that we are selecting Ingest New Objects. You also have the option with IMI to update existing objects using the same CSV templating system. And for that, you would include the object PID in the CSV, uncheck that Let Islandora Build the PID box, and selecting Update. But we want to create new objects. So we click Ingest. Then we're going to choose our zip file. This is my zip file. It only has one file in it because I only got one file in my CSV. I uploaded the zip file. I click Ingest. If everything worked out, then you have a confirmation at the top that says you are all set with a link to the set in the Islandora batch queue. So click the set ID in the link. You'll see all of the objects that you have in your set ready to be ingested, ready to be processed. So we click the Process Set button, and Islandora batch will do its job. Start batch processing. Processing complete. We have ingested our object successfully. You can take a look. And there's our object with all of its metadata, which would be working nicely if my virtual machine worked properly. If we want to make sure that all of the data streams are present and properly filled out, we can. Here's the mods record. It has a solar document with all of its relevant information.